What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, my name is Brandon and this is my 2022 Mazda 3 and we're gonna be doing a 20,000 mile review of my car. Now, I originally bought my car a year ago, March 31st. It's been officially 1 year. I've put over 20,000 miles on the vehicle. And I'm gonna just talk about everything that I've done to the vehicle and a couple of things that I've experienced with the car. Right off the rip, man, this is by far one of the best cars I've ever owned. I love this car. It's been a lot of fun. It is a great commuter car for anyone looking for a Mazda 3 or in the market for the Mazda 3. It's a great car. Now, we're not gonna do an in-depth review of the vehicle. There's plenty of videos on YouTube if you're looking for something like that. We're just gonna be talking about my 2022 Mazda 3, everything that I've done to it so far. I have a lot more planned for this car, so let's just hop right into it. All right, guys, so starting with the front, as you can see, I've done a couple things. First, we have the Cork Sport license plate relocation kit. Originally, when you first buy your car, the license plate goes right here in the center. I'm not the biggest fan of that look. I like the look of the offset license plate. I think it looks really nice. Yes, I could just not have a front plate, but this is Texas and they want us to have front plates, and I'm not really one to bend the rules, so we'll go ahead and just keep it. Also up front, I've went ahead and installed the OEM front lip. Now, real quick, I have been blasted on Instagram with a bunch of people telling me that I have installed this wrong, and I was gonna explain it to you in my install of this front lip, so I'll explain it here. When I got this front lip, the box came damaged. I almost thought the lip was broken. There was holes all in this box. The instructions were gone, the hardware was gone, just the lip was the only thing that was intact. I was gonna contact the company, but I was like, you know what? I looked underneath the car, how hard could this really be to install? Mocked up my 8 bolts and I thought that was good to go. Come to find out that everyone on Instagram DMing me and messaging me telling me that I'm supposed to be drilling a couple, like 4 or 6 other screws actually into the bumper. And I was just sitting here thinking, nah, I don't think we're gonna do that. So I didn't do that. So the way I've installed my front lip, there is some gaps. They're not very noticeable. Maybe some people will notice. I personally don't even notice myself, but there is a slight gap on either side. And of course, that can be prevented if you actually do the proper steps and drill into your bumper. I'm not really one to drill in my bumper. If I want to shake this lip off or it breaks and I have to remove it, then I'm left with just screw marks all in my front bumper. So I think that's a chance me personally I'm willing to take and not drill into my bumper. Since we're still on the front, I'm gonna go ahead and address the paint issue. This thing has been peppered with rock chips, and I'm not really one to tailgate people. I keep my distance and everything, but the whole front of this thing has been just completely sandblasted with rock chips. Now, I do happen to drive a lot, clearly have 20,000 miles for 1 year. Now, I could have got the touch-up pin from Mike's store, but it's just something I've never got to. It gives the car character. But enough of the front, let's go ahead and go to the sides. So moving to the side of the vehicle, we'll start top to bottom. What we have up top is the OEM roof rails with a Yakima High Road bike rack. Now, you're probably thinking, Brandon, do you even use that? Yes, I actually do. I go biking quite frequently. It's a hobby I love doing, and yes, I actually use that. Now, something I need to get soon to pair with this is a wind deflector, because this thing is pretty noisy, especially at highway speeds. There's a nice little whistle or hum. We have the OEM visors. I like the way they look. They're actually functional. People will say it's rice, but it's functional. Let's call it what it is. I also blacked out my mirror caps right here. These are replacement mirror caps. These aren't double-sided stick-on tape mirror caps. These are actual replacement mirrors. Right here, the door handles. I've blacked out the door handles. Now, these are actually 3M double-sided tape. I got these from Mike's store or Mick's store. And moving to the bottom, I am lowered on the Eibach lowering springs. I'm sitting on the 18 by 8.5 plus 35 offset Anovia Canos, and they are wrapped in the 235/40 R18 Vercelli Strada 2s. Now, if anyone's wondering if the Vercelli Stradas are actually worth it, being that they're only like 80 to 100 bucks a tire, I can honestly say that they are a great tire, and I will be buying another set when the time comes. I've got about 5,000 miles on them, and they're great. They do great in the wet, do great on the dry. They don't hook as good as I thought they would, but maybe it's just because I'm not used to a front-wheel drive vehicle. This is my first front-wheel drive vehicle, and it feels like it wheel spins quite often. So along with that, we have some Rally Armor mud flaps to protect our side panels, and they do a fantastic job. Now, let me bring you in close to the wheels. I gotta show you guys a couple things. Okay, so coming in deep, right here we have our brake calipers that are painted. I used the G2 paint caliper kit. The color that I went ahead and painted them was the Ford Grabber Blue. I mentioned it before, if I could wrap my car in any color, it would be that Ford Grabber Blue. It looks so beautiful, man. We're also running some Mishimoto lug nuts, lightweight lug nuts, and right here is something I wanted to mention to you guys. Some aftermarket wheels that we put on these Mazda 3s, the center cap actually doesn't clear just because there is a hub bolt that is right here, and it interferes with some of those caps. So what you have to do is get like a domed cap that will fit on here. Hopefully your wheel company has a domed cap. Inovia didn't, so shout out to my man Race Team Extra. He actually is running these same wheels on his Mazda 3, and he's the one that told me about these little dome caps. I got them from Amazon. They're like 12 bucks. So I went and put these on the front and the back. Fortunately, I can't run the Inovia caps. They look really good, but it's just kind of is what it is. So moving on to the rear, we have the Cork Sport wing. Now originally I was hesitant about color matching it just because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but to my surprise, I love it. I love the way it looks. It came out really nice. It looks great. I love it. Moving down, we have the Cork Sport rear wiper delete. One of the first things I did to the car. Moving below that, we have just an emblem overlay from Mix Store. It's just a 3M stick-on overlay. I actually was gonna have a buddy wrap it, but he told me with the sharp edges of the Mazda logo, over time, it might start to lift, and so he recommended that I just didn't wrap it and just get an overlay. So that's what I did. Another thing I forgot to mention was my third brake light. I actually got an F1 style blinking third brake light from Mix Store. Now moving down low, I have the HKS Axleback exhaust, and that is paired with the Cork Sport mid pipe. It creates a really nice sound. Definitely one of my favorite mods by far. Right here, I get a lot of questions about my rear diffuser. This was actually from a company called Pro Tuning. I found them on eBay, but they actually have a website. And yeah, that's about it for the back. So coming to the inside, down below, we have some WeatherTech floor mats. Definitely a must for me because I do a lot of outdoor activities, and tracking dirt in and out of this car is not ideal for me, even though I do keep it clean. Moving to the door panels, I have some black carbon fiber overlays for the window clusters. Also in the interior, a carbon fiber overlay for the center console, because one of the things that most Mazda 3 owners complain about is this piano black getting scratched up.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I experienced it myself. I bought the car, ripped off the plastic, and there were scratches underneath the plastic. So this thing was scratched up from the factory. I don't know how it happens, but this thing just came from the factory scratched up. It is what it is. An overlay is a good way to mitigate that problem. Also in the center console, I have a weighted shift boot, making shifts and throws a lot easier, which it does. It's huge. Also right here, I went ahead and changed out my shift boot. Got something a little cooler, something that appeals a little bit more to me and my sense of style and stuff like that. One huge pro of this car, man, is the interior quality. For what I paid for this vehicle, the quality I get is just top tier, man. The soft touch leather, Bose surround sound system, heated seats. The only thing I didn't get was a heated steering wheel, and I think that might have been due to like the chip shortage, because I got this during the pandemic, so that might have been a feature they might have gotten rid of. Or maybe it just didn't come on the 6-speed manual. I'm pretty sure it did though, especially when I built it, but I digress. It's so elegant and nice in here. It feels like you're in an Audi or in a Mercedes, but you're in a Mazda, which isn't a bad thing by any means. But for my first impression, it just threw me through the roof. This is my first Mazda I've ever owned, and I gotta say, they left a really big imprint on me. So coming underneath the hood, you're gonna notice there's no spoolie boy. You can only get the 6-speed manual with the 2.5 naturally aspirated engine. You can't get it with the turbo. I don't know what Mazda was thinking, but I get it. I get it. Underneath the hood, we had a couple things. We have the Redline tuning strut support system for the hood. Definite must with this vehicle. It should have came factory. We do have the factory prop rod, which I didn't like. And if we're gonna go for a premium vehicle and try and be a Mercedes level, I'm not sure why this wasn't factory, but it was a cheap and easy mod that I think everyone should do. Right here, we have the Cork Sport strut tower brace. I also forgot to mention, back underneath the car in the rear, we have the Cork Sport rear sway bar. Right here, we have the Takeda AFE cold air intake. I'm running the paper filter, and yeah, that's about all we're running underneath the hood for now. Window tint. I have a 5% eyebrow on the front 2 windows, 20%, back 2 windows, 20%, and on the rear back glass, it's 5% tint. Well guys, there you have it. This is everything done to my 2022 Mazda 3. 20,000 miles down and many more to come. I love this car, man. I haven't had a single issue with this vehicle, aside from little nitpick things like the rock chips and just the scratches on the interior. I haven't had anything mechanically wrong with this vehicle. I'm still on the factory battery. I've just been getting my regular maintenance every 5,000 miles. I have not experienced any issues with this vehicle, man. I love this car. And if you're in the market for a Mazda 3 hatch, do it, man. It's great. Whether you get the all-wheel drive turbo or the 6-speed manual or just an automatic, whatever. There's a bunch of different variations of this vehicle. One thing that I love about this vehicle is that when I take it to car shows and car meets, it's the only one in the lot. You'll walk down a row and there'll be 50 Chargers, 50 Mustangs, 50 GTIs, Subarus, and there's only ever one of these. This car's just different. I get a lot of people that come and ask me questions about it just because they've never seen it before. The hatchback version of this car is just not popular here in San Antonio, I guess. There's plenty of the 4th gen Mazda 3 sedans because, you know, it's a great family car, but the hatchback, it's just not that popular down here. That's why I love it. It stands out. It's bold, in your face. It's kind of hard to not break your neck looking at this thing. But anyway, guys, with all that said, this is the wrap up of my 2022 Mazda 3. I have a bunch more mods coming, so if you care to stick around and follow the journey, maybe you want to add some of this stuff to your vehicle as well, consider subscribing. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next Mazda video. Peace.